Party people, we got some Bruno Cathala news with Cyclades Legendary Edition. What's happening, party people? Welcome to Punch Board Party. My name is Daniel, this is Father Greg, and it is board game news time. And we are talking about Cyclades Legendary Edition. This is coming to us from Bruno Cathala and Ludovic Maublanc. And Cyclades came out in 2009.
Yes, it did.
So why are we talking about it now?
I have no idea. It's a good question, Daniel.
So coming soon to Kickstarter is the Legendary Edition of Cyclades. So Cyclades came out with the base game, and then they had two big expansions, Titans and Hades. And then they also had kind of a moderate to small expansion called Monuments. And so you get all this content and you mush it together, and people would begin to complain that the game was pretty bloated. Other people were complaining that if you played just with the base game, you were really missing out on the Cyclades experience, and it wasn't everything the game had to offer. And so purportedly, this Legendary Edition is kind of the director's cut version of Cyclades, where Bruno Cathala and Ludovic Maublanc got together and they said, here are the best pieces of all these expansions and the base game, and we're just going to kind of put the best of Cyclades together into one square box, which I'm very excited about. It used to come in the Matago box, right? And it's just an awkward, because like, you can't turn it up this way, because it would look nice, but it's just a little too tall for the other games, or for the spots on a calyx. But then you turn it the other way, and it looks like a short little dinky thing. It's just frustrating. What a nice square box. Very excited about this. Apparently, boxes and tins are very important to me. Apparently, I really care about this stuff.
Deeply passionate.
So here are the things. The main kind of changes. So in the base game, there were creatures that you could employ to help you do special actions. There's also heroes that come in a particular expansion. So in this game, you're going to get creatures and heroes. And so heroes help you with like your battle strength and things like this, and kind of reinforce your armies. And so both of those things are going to be in play in this edition, as well as instead of having 5 gods to be able to influence on the auction track, there's going to be 6.
In the base game.
In the base game. So yeah, so there's going to be Hera, and she's going to allow you to kind of reinforce your armies with these mercenary type units. And so that's going to be interesting, I suppose. One other thing that I think is pretty cool is that Cyclades, the Legendary Edition, now comes with like modular tiles for the board. So the original version has this big old board and then like another half, like 2 halves of a big board, and there's like a third piece that you can like attach on if you want. It's very cumbersome, very weird, so I love the idea where you have tiles to build out your archipelago, and you can have sort of a different experience each time you play, depending on player count or just variation from game to game, I imagine is what they're going for. So I think that that's a neat thing that they're bringing to the table in this sort of new edition of Cyclades. The big kind of question mark, and what I saw in some of the threads that I'm really curious about too, is it touts a more expedient auction phase. So the auction phase in the game is a big part of the game, where you're spending money to influence a particular god, and particular gods are associated with particular actions. And if you get outbid, you have to move your bidding pawn to another god altogether. And that really kind of creates some tension of like, you ended up bidding for an action that you didn't necessarily really want, or whatever the case may be. So now they're talking about a shorter and more dynamic bidding phase thanks to an exponential bidding system. So I don't know what an exponential bidding system is, other than you bid exponentially more than the previous player. So if it's going to be shorter, more dynamic, I assume that maybe it's doing away with that whole idea that you have to go somewhere different. You just have to go more than the next player. I don't know, but like going somewhere different was a highlight for me in creating tension in this game. So I'm just a little suspicious as to, is this actually going to be a more streamlined and more dynamic bidding system, or are they just going to ruin everything?
Sounds to me like Viticulture Essential Edition. This is like, I don't like when they take an expansion and then they modify the expansion. So if you have Cyclades and you have all these expansions, now you need to get the Cyclades Essential Edition. And then later on they'll realize, oh, there was stuff for the expansions that people left out. So then they'll release the Cyclades Expansions Essential Edition. And then together those two will form the...
Right. So this was a discussion that was happening on the threads. Is like, is there going to be an upgrade pack for the base game? And they were like, no, this is a different publisher. It's a totally different thing. This is going to be an expansion-proof game, so to speak. So you're all on your own. And one guy was like, it's fine. I already sold all my stuff. Getting ready for this one. I was like, who does that? Cyclades Legendary Edition. It looks really cool, like just the new art design and the
Right.
art direction. Like it looks like a really well put together product. I like a square box. I love this game, and I don't have any of the expansion content. So for me, it's just a matter of sacrificing the base game purchase and saying okay, and then getting kind of like the perfect version of Cyclades. What do you think, party people? Do you think this is actually going to hit the nail on the head of being the perfect version of Cyclades? Or are there going to be things left out that they're going to want to create a new expansion for this legendary edition? Let us know in the comments down below what you're thinking about this news. And until next time, party people.
Have the best day.